Hello and welcome to Gameweek 6 Championship predictions. Some teams need to bounce back after a horrible run of form, and some teams are just going to continuing on their good run of form, like the Middlesbroughs, the Stokes, and the West Broms. Them two play each other, Middlesbrough, West Brom tomorrow night, so that should be an intriguing matchup. But yeah, let's just jump straight into my Gameweek 6 prediction for this weekend in the Championship. Middlesbrough West Brom then on Friday night kicks us off. Two sides that are doing really, really well to start the season. And West Brom did have a bit of a disappointing defeat away at home to Derby. At the Hawthorns, they travelled to Middlesbrough this time around. Last time they did play was a nice 2-0 home win for Middlesbrough over West Brom, and then 1st of October, Middlesbrough beat them at the Hawthorns. So Middlesbrough got a double over West Brom last season. They have a pretty good head-to-head record at the Riverside. Two sides are in pretty good form. Middlesbrough currently top of the table under Rob Edwards, 4 wins, 1 draw, 0 losses. Ryan Mason's West Brom 3 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss. Of course, that loss to Derby in there as well. Middlesbrough getting a decent point away at Preston after looking like they were going to lose that game in the dying embers there, but managed to fight back. West Brom had a pretty good start, drawing to Portsmouth and losing at home to Derby have been their disappointing results. I'm going to back Middlesbrough in this one. I think Rob Edwards' side will continue the perfect start. I'm going to back Borough to win this by 2-1 at home over West Brom in this one. And Rob Edwards gets another win under his belt as Borough boss. Into the 12:30 kickoffs, we'll get into the juicy one in a minute. But first is Birmingham taking on Swansea City. Birmingham back-to-back defeat for Chris Davies' side. Not the best football either. 2 shots on target 0 shots on target in 3 games if you include the cup match, 2 in 3 if you include the other game, which was Oxford, I believe, or was it just 1 on target in that game? But nonetheless, Birmingham have been absolutely 1 shot on target. It was Birmingham been absolutely terrible recently. No denying about that. If we lose this, you might question Chris Davies' job might come into a bit of uncertainty considering what the results have been, but I doubt that. Just some of our fancy to be losing their head a little bit. 3 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses for Birmingham in the head-to-heads. Last 2 times these sides played was a 2-2 draw back in January 2024. Tony Mowbray's first game in charge, and back in August on opening day it was a 1-1 draw when Eustace was back in charge. I'm going to back the Blues to get a win in this one. Swansea, yes, to beat Forest might be a bit leggy from that game. I am going to back the Blues in this one to win this by 2-1 over Swansea in this one. And back in Birmingham to win this by 2-1 over Alan Sheehan and his Swansea side back in Birmingham to get back to winning ways in this one. Now into a juicy derby, the M69 derby, I believe, where Leicester take on Coventry. Do correct me if I'm wrong, if that is the wrong motorway derby. But Leicester take on Coventry. Bit disappointing result last time out for Leicester City, drawing away at Oxford. Coventry drawing at home to Norwich in the last minute. Deserved winners in that one were Coventry, but they didn't get over the line unfortunately. Both sides have drew away at Oxford. Leicester beat Birmingham and Charlton before that. Coventry haven't won in 3 matches since that 7-1 thrashing of QPR. They haven't won since. This one's at the King Power. You'd probably back Leicester. They did beat them on opening day back in 2023. 2024 was also a good good home win for Coventry back at their place at the CBS. This one's a tough one to call. Coventry haven't been great. They haven't lost so far this season. Leicester have lost so far this season. I'm going to back a thriller. I'm going to back a 2-2 draw in this one. I don't think there's going to be anything splitting these sides in this one. So back in a 2-2 draw between Leicester and Coventry in this one. And then the final 12:30 game is QPR taking on Stoke City. Brilliant start for Mark Robbins and Stoke, and it showed last time out again as they beat Birmingham City by 1-0. QPR back-to-back wins for them under Julian Stefan. 3-1 win over Charlton, 3-1 win over Wrexham. Are those new signings starting to pour in now and make QPR a better side? They are currently sitting 12th. Stoke currently sits 2nd. Very good start for both of them. And they might be both out in the playoffs come at the end of the season. Last time they did play at QPR was a 1-1 draw back in November. And then it was a 3-1 home win for Stoke in March, on the 29th of March, end of March. This one's a tough one to call. QPR okay. They have no Pocky who's injured and Chair's injured now as well for Queen's Park Raiders. I'm still going to back a draw in this one. I don't think Stoke are going to be quite as good as they have been towards from the start of the season. I am going to back a draw between this, back a 1-1 safe bet draw, and yes, Stoke and QPR to play out, share the spoils in this one. So yeah, back in a 1-1 draw between these two. Into the few of the 3 o'clockers, only 6 games in the 3 o'clockers, and the first one is Blackburn versus Ipswich at Ewood Park. Blackburn, very good win over Watford last time out, of course. Ipswich did batter Sheffield United by 5-0 and currently sit 14th in the table. Yeah, head-to-head, last time they did play was a nice 1-0 away win for Ipswich. That was when the pressure was really piling on at the end of the season. It was a 4-3 win back in September 23. 5 wins for Blackburn, 5 wins for Ipswich, 4 draws in there as well. Yeah, Ipswich 14th, Blackburn in 16th. This one's a tough one to call again. I think Blackburn could get something, but then I think Ipswich are starting to click into gear now, and I am going to back the away side in this one. They've done pretty well of recent times. Well, they're recently by beating Ipswich. Sheffield United by 5-0 back in Ipswich here. 3-1 away win over Blackburn quite comfortably. Yeah, nothing much more to say apart from Ipswich going to win this 3-1. Derby take on Preston now then at Pride Park. Derby getting a very good win under John Eustace last time out over West Brom. John Eustace loves playing West Brom, doesn't he? Gone through his Birmingham and Blackburn days, I believe, or maybe just Birmingham days. Preston haven't been on the best of form. Their last win was against Ipswich. That was before the international break, 1-0 home win, and then 3-2 away win for Wrexham. Portsmouth beat Preston. That was their most recent defeat, and then they drew at home to Middlesbrough, which they really should have won. Should Paul Heckingbottom's side. Derby been decent. Haven't lost in their last 3 in the league. But they did lose to Burnley in the Cup, which they're not really going to take that lightly. Derby have a good head-to-head record over Preston. 2-0 win last time they did play in April. There was a 1-1 draw back in November 2024. I am going to back the Rams in this one. I'm going to back them to get over the line. I'm going to go for a nice scrappy 1-0 Derby home win at Pride Park. Get the place rocking and propel themselves up the table from 19th. So yeah, back in Derby to win despite a 0-0 over Preston in this game. Hull take on Southampton now then at the MKM Stadium. Hull City really have been on a bit of a backwards trajectory since that 3-2 win over Oxford on game week 2. They've lost 3-0 away at home to Blackburn, 4-2 at home to 4-2 away to Bristol City, spit it out, and 2-2 away at Swansea in there as well. Southampton very disappointing in the South Coast derby against Portsmouth, 0-0, 2-2 draw away at Watford. Haven't won the league since opening day actually over Wrexham, so they'll be looking to do it a lot better in that. They've got the Cup against Liverpool coming up next week as well. I am going to back the Saints narrowly. I'm going to back them 1-0. I think Will Still's side usually quite good defensively, but not the Watford game so far this season. From what I've seen, they can be okay, but they can be inconsistent defensively, I think, as well. But they do look pretty good if they can have a good game. That's the same with all teams. 1-0 Southampton in this one. Yeah, Jurkovic might be on limited time at Hull as they like sacking managers. So yeah, back in Southampton for a 1-0 away win. Now to Carrow Road as Norwich take on Wrexham. Norwich will be looking to do a lot better than what they did at Coventry because they really should have been battered in that game. Very fortunate to come away with a 1-1 draw in that one. They did beat Blackburn before that. Not bad from Lou Manning, still embedding his ideas into Norwich City. At the moment, Wrexham, we all thought it clicked into give them at Millwall the week before last, and it just all unravelled at home to Queen's Park. Rangers, Phil Parkins have rumoured he might be getting the sack after this game if they lose it. Norwich in 10th, Wrexham down in 21st. Wrexham need to be quick if they are going to snap up a new manager, because they don't want to be fighting around relegation for too long. They have never played in a head-to-head These two, I'm going to back Norwich quite comfortably and go for a nice 3-1 home victory for Liam Manning's side in this one. Wrexham really don't look great under Phil Parkinson so far, but despite the money they have spent. Phil Parkinson's record in the Championship is horrible. I am backing Norwich City to win this by 3-1 over Wrexham in this one. So, backing Norwich to win this by 3-1. Portsmouth take on Sheffield Wednesday. Then Sheffield Wednesday almost guaranteed to lose this one with just the problems that's going on off the pitch there, as well as Portsmouth's home record as well, which was very good. They looked the better side, in my opinion, against Southampton. Probably could have snatched a win, but I think it was a fairly even game. Both sides could have won it. Beat Preston before that. Good home win for John Mousinho's side, but beat between him and Will still at the weekend, which we all like to see in a bit of a derby. Sheffield Wednesday did actually win here last season back in October. That's when Portsmouth was really poor through that horrible run they had, remember. Portsmouth in 9th at the moment, not doing too bad. Sheffield Wednesday in 23rd. It's obvious Portsmouth are going to win this. I'm going to back them. I'm going to back them by 2-0. Be quite a comfortable win for Pompey, you would imagine, in this one. Never write anybody off, especially Sheffield Wednesday with the fight they are trying to show at the moment, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. And Portsmouth at Fratton Park are very, very tough to beat. So you're back in Pompey for a nice 2-0 home win in this one. And now to Chris Wilder's first game back in charge of Sheffield United as they take on Charlton Athletic in this one. Both sides on absolutely horrible form, but Sheffield United, new manager bounce. It's probably all going to kick right for them this time around, isn't it? They've been all right so far. They'll be looking to do a bit better. Charlton drawing at home to Millwall probably could have won that game if you think about it. Throwing it away kind of late on there. Losing to QPR, lost to Cambridge in the Cup, lost to Leicester, drew with Bristol City. Sheffield United, we don't really need to speak about under Chris Wilder. Last time these sides did play, it was a 2-1 win for Sheffield United back in League One in 2017. Was the last time these sides played, and it was a 1-1 draw back in November 2016. I am going to back Sheffield United and Chris Wilder. I think it'd be tight, but I think because Nathan Jones is a bloody difficult manager to come across when his teams are playing away from home. So yeah, I'm just going to back Sheffield United to win this by 1-0, get the scrappy win, and just win this by 1-0. And Sheffield United start back perfectly with Chris Wilder, 1-0 over Charlton in this one. Into Sunday and Monday's games, Bristol City take on Oxford, back-to-back wins for Gerhard Struber and Bristol City, 4-2 win over Hull, 3-0 win over Sheffield Wednesday. 2-2 draw, back-to-back 2-2 draws against two very good sides for Oxford United in Coventry and Leicester, respectively. Bristol City have a good record against Oxford's 1-3 drawn, 1 lost, 1. The only loss came back in 2014, so Bristol City have been quite good at Ashton Gate. I think Bristol City have done really well up in 3rd at the moment. Gerhard Struber, really underrated coach in my opinion. Oxford need to find some points, need to find a win out of somewhere under Gary. That's the home form that's going to be important for them. But if they could get a draw here, it would be amazing, you would imagine. Bristol City will win this 3-0 quite comfortably. Why not just throw a comfortable 3-0 victory out there for Bristol City here in this one. And quite comfortable win for Gerhard Struber and his men. Bristol City to win this 3-0. Final game is Monday night as Millwall take on Watford, in which is a London derby at the Den. Millwall very, very unlucky to lose on penalties last night to Crystal Palace, I believe. It was Crystal Palace, wasn't it? Watford lost to Blackburn. Paolo Pezzolano might be getting the sack rather soon, you would imagine. Head-to-heads last time these sides play was 3-2 win for Watford back in August, and it was a 2-1 away win for Millwall back in March. I think that's when Watford will go through the tough spell. Millwall aren't the greatest against Watford in the head-to-heads. Only lost 9, won 6, drawn 4. This one's could be a bit of a freak result. We don't know what's going to happen. Should be a good game under the lights. This one at the Den. If the atmosphere's up for it. I'm going to back a 2-2 actually. I just think it might be a bit of an open game of football, this one. Watford have had quite a few draws so far this season. So yeah, back in a 2-2 between these two sides, and yeah, should be a decent game under the lights on Sky on Monday night. 2-2 between Millwall and Watford. Thank you very much for watching my Championship Game Week 6 predictions. If you did like the video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all of that good stuff, and yeah, I'll speak to you all on the next one, which will be Prem predictions tomorrow night around the same time. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll speak to you all next one.